Hey everybody, welcome back. This is my review of Klonoa Phantasy Reverie, and this is going to be part 1, focusing on the first game, Klonoa Door to Phantomille. This is a PS1 classic that a lot of people love, and it's finally been brought back for modern audiences, but you should note that this is actually a remaster of the Wii version, which I don't think is a whole lot different than the PS1 version. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I love the PS1 and PS2, but I never played the Klonoa games, so I was very excited for this release, and I bought it on day one. So how is Klonoa? Well, it feels very much like a 90s platformer. It's a 2.5D game that has a little bit of kind of Nights into Dreams, has a little bit of classic Donkey Kong Country, has a little bit of Mario in there. It's a mix of a lot of things, and really it's its own game. With the 90s limitations, all the companies that were making platformers had to deal with the limitations of 3D, how to work with 3D, having to deal with camera angles, and Klonoa does it by basically keeping the game mostly 2D with occasional 3D sections that are guided by a camera where you don't actually need to move it around. So you never have to deal with the camera in Klonoa. Now, is it a fun game? Yes, it is a fun game. It has a lot of charm. It's very easy to pick up and play. There's not much of a learning curve, even though they really like to throw tutorials at you for like every single little thing. But luckily you could just skip them pretty easily. But do I think it's worth that asking price of $40 for this collection? Let's treat Klonoa like it's half of it, $20. Maybe. I think it's probably worth $10 digitally. Let me explain. I think this is a fun game, but it's not without its shortcomings. I definitely enjoyed playing the game, however, it didn't keep me hooked in. I would play 3 or 4 levels and kind of feel like, alright, I'm kind of ready to stop playing this and go back to something else. It didn't hook me in like, those classic Mario or Donkey Kong Country games that really just was like, one more level. Please, just let me play one more level. I didn't feel like that with Klonoa. And I think it's because of how gigantic the stages are. They are kind of labyrinthine. Yeah, I said that correctly, I think. Anyway, they are pretty labyrinthine in that they have winding paths, different planes, and you have to interact with them in very unique ways. Most of the game is centered around picking up enemies and either throwing them or using them to double jump. You could throw enemies into other planes and get stuff like eggs that give you the Phantomilles, which are like apparently cute little creatures. Getting all of those will unlock an extra stage in the game. And you will also use them to double jump to get on platforms, and you also have kind of a flutter like Yoshi. So there's quite a bit of cool mechanics going on here, and the enemies take different strategies to hit them. Like some of them you need to hit in the butt, some of them you need to throw enemies at them from above, some of them you need to break their shells. So there's a lot of cool enemies here. But there are some problems. Like for instance, sometimes I wasn't sure exactly what platform was on what plane. I would go to jump on a platform and be like, oh my god, yeah, that's apparently in a platform in front of me, not on my plane, so I just committed suicide. That happened a few times. And also, definitely, like, sometimes the grab mechanic doesn't really work as well as you want it to, and it's finicky. Like, you'll be right next to an enemy, go to grab it, and you're like, oh, I got nothing but a face full of spikes from the enemy that just hit me. And sometimes you'd be kind of far away from it and be like, yeah, I'm probably gonna miss it, and voila, enemies in your hands. So it does work 90% of the time as advertised, but there are definitely times where the grabbing mechanic can be finicky, and this is problematic because the game is centered around it. It's not such a huge deal breaker that I would say don't play the game. Like it's kind of a minor annoyance when it comes down to it. Like it's occasionally going to cause you to take some damage, or maybe have to repeat a platforming part, but it's not going to break your experience by any means. Now, this is a pretty no-frills experience. I've heard that phrase so many times now it's just popping in my head as if I'm just repeating advertisements. What I mean by that is, this game is very bare bones. It is, you play the stage, you go into a world map, and you enter a new stage. Not a whole lot extra there. There's no shop, there's no upgrades, nothing extra you can do on the world map. Basically, the only secret in the game is to get the Phantomilles. However, it is kind of a collect-a-thon at the same time, though that's kind of optional stuff. Like, you can get timers to use as checkpoints, you can collect all the gems to get extra lives and apparently get a 100% completion, but there's no trophies on the Switch anyway, so whatever. Let's talk about the performance for a second, because I imagine a lot of you guys will be playing the Switch version and want to know, is this game running at 60 frames per second? Is it maintaining 60 frames per second? From my experience playing it both handheld and docked, it runs very smoothly. It's not going to say 60 frames per second the whole time. There are drops, especially noticeable in cutscenes, which to me isn't a huge deal. I don't care about the storyline in platformers. I just want the classic Mario, give me 2 or 3 minutes of story, then I just play the rest of the game as I wish. Klonoa does have story that interrupts probably more often than I wish it did, but you can skip it, but that's when I noticed the slowdown the most. Okay, so is this game actually worth the asking price? I think $40 was pretty steep for this collection, I gotta say. I was kind of harping on Sega for making that Sonic Origins collection $45, but honestly, I think more work was done and made into those games than was done here. This is very bare bones. There's a pixelated filter, which I don't even like. There's like some options to skip and fast forward cutscenes, obviously graphical enhancements, but this is basically Klonoa, like you remember it if you had played it, unlike me. So, I don't know. I personally think that Klonoa would be an amazing buy for $10. I think considering it half the collection for $20, it's a digital purchase, I don't know. I don't feel like I am completely satisfied with that. I would probably give this game a 7.5 out of 10. It's just the mechanics don't always work 100% as advertised, and it feels very old school in a way that, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying returning to the 90s, but this doesn't quite live up to other platformers like the classic Mario and Donkey Kong Country games to me. Sorry, that's my opinion. People will definitely dissent, leave me hate comments. That's totally fine. If this game was like your childhood and Klonoa is your jam, definitely get the collection. If you are on the fence about it, try the demo if you can, and probably wait for a sale. The good news is the second game is definitely better than the first one, which I'll cover in the next review. But Klonoa Door to Phantomille, I can't in good faith recommend you pick this up for $40. It should have probably been $30, and that would have been a much better deal, or even $25. I think that would have been fair. Alright, so that's it for my review. I'm giving this game a 7.5 out of 10. A more good than bad, but also probably not the best platformer you're going to get on whatever console you're playing it on. Alright, my question to you is, did you play the original, or is this your first time playing? And what do you think? Did you have fun with it? Do you think that it's worth the asking price? Alright guys, game on, and I will catch you guys for the second review on Klonoa 2.